Hey, this is Coleman again with SellThatHouseNow.com. I'm here with Christopher Britt, attorney I work with at the firm Crump. He handles a ton of closings for me, and he's very knowledgeable on the closing process, which is what we are here today to talk with him about. So when clients are working with me and I get a home under contract and I send you the contract, can you please kind of enlighten us and explain what the next step of that process is? So how the whole closing process basically works.
Sure. So from the moment that you reach out to me, we take that contract, and the first thing that we do is we need to get title work started immediately, because title work is the most lengthy part of the process.
How long does that usually take?
Well, title work itself can take anywhere between a couple of days to maybe a week, depending on how in-depth it is. Okay. Usually for residential properties, you're talking somewhere between 3 to 5 days. In the meantime, what we do is we start setting up the file. We have software, very intricate software that we use, where we start putting in the numbers and getting all the documents ready for closing. So we're doing all of that. We're making phone calls. We're reaching out to people to get everything together. When title work comes back, then we have a whole nother list of things that we have to do. So for instance, if most people have mortgages on their property. So what we do there is we need to get the payoffs, and we have to do it ourselves to make sure that there's not any sort of misgivings whenever it comes to how much is owed on properties and things like that. Yes. So the title work, whenever we get it back, it will provide to us information basically to let us know exactly what the next step should be in order to provide clear title to a buyer.
Okay.
That process it could also be lengthy. So in terms of getting a mortgage payoff, you could be dealing with getting it back in a couple days, or it could take a week or two. But of course, we're doing all of these things. It's almost like juggling. There's multiple things in the air at any given time that we're having to keep track of, as well as getting the documents together. And then the very last thing we do after we make sure that all the title is clear and all the documents are prepared, then we logistically have to make sure all the parties are together to make sure that we can get the closing done.
That's definitely. By parties, you mean people selling the property and the person like myself is buying the property.
Correct, yep. And to make sure that the money gets where it needs to go. We also disperse the money. After closing, of course, that's not the end of the job. We have to make sure that all the money gets exactly where it needs to go. Make sure that the seller gets paid, make sure that the taxes are paid, make sure that everyone's getting paid, basically.
Okay, most definitely. And I know that I often boast that I can close in 3 days. As you just heard right here, it takes sometimes 3 to 5 business days to get title work. But the thing about that's different with me is I pay cash. So once we get that title work back and they say, hey, this title's good, it's clean, it's clear, it's good to go, we can close. Quickly, it's 3 days. It can happen. Has that happened before?
It's not only happened before, we do it all the time. And I've done it plenty of times for Coleman.
Thank you for clearing that up. But just so you're at ease, knowing that it is done, it's happened before. I know a lot of times people don't understand that, hey, if I have a lien against the property or I have a judgment that needs to get cleared up, that we can't close immediately. And that's just because we have to go through and cure title. But man, thank you so much for that explanation, Chris.
Absolutely.
Man, look forward to bringing you some more work. Again, this is Christopher Britt with Crump. Great real estate closing attorney. If you need anyone to handle anything real estate related, definitely give this man a call. He's great at what he does.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. No problem.